This yoga for back pain class is going to use a couple of different strategies for starting out, so starting with standing work, a little bit of core work that I've been implementing into my own low back spinal rehabilitation. I hope you enjoy. Any comments, just drop them right below this video and don't forget to subscribe. When working with back pain, sometimes starting laying down on the back or even starting seated can be really aggravating for the back. Sometimes I like to mix this up by doing standing postures from the very outset of the class. So for today, if you've got a block or a rolled up towel, take that and put it to the inner thighs. Set the feet so they're about hip distance and parallel, and then shift the weight a little bit towards your heels. Do a little bit of tuck tailbone down, and then draw the shoulders down away from the ears. To start with, focus on some of these different body points. Close your eyes. Actively lift the toe tips and then spread them. So you're working active feet. Draw the upper arms down away from the ears so the neck feels more spacious. Tuck tailbone downwards just enough that you feel either that block or the rolled up towel a little bit more at the inner thighs. Squeeze inner thighs just enough that the legs switch on. So you should be able to feel legs and low body are a lot more active. Inhale to lift the entire torso up away from your pelvis. Exhale, pull belly muscles in. Tuck the chin a little to help lengthen out through the back of the neck so you're standing tall. In the next 3 breaths, get very clear on one part of your back that you want to work on today, whether it's shoulders, lower back, mid back. Get very clear on the size and shape of that area. Get a feel for how that area is right now. If you're going for the entire back, be more specific. Choose something and refine your attention so that it is no larger than the palm of your hand. Now come back to some of those basics. Active feet, deep breathing, tailbone tucked down just enough to switch on thighs, telescoping the ribs up, neck spacious by drawing the shoulder blades down. Commit to work with the area that is feeling sore today in a way that is pain-free and pain-freeing. Bring the hands onto the abdomen. Your pranayama, your breath work, is doing kapalabhati. To do kapalabhati, you'll be doing short staccato exhales through the nose, or if you're blocked up, doing it through the mouth. They sound like this, so if you listen first, then we'll do it together. Or through the mouth. The aim is to get the abdominals pulling back to create this short, sharp burst of air. So we'll do it together. Exhale everything out through the mouth. Inhale halfway full, and then begin doing that sharp staccato exhale. Pause, take a deep breath in. A full and slow exhale. Another round of 20. Inhale halfway. Begin. Close your eyes. Return to a steady breath. Feel how the abdominals are starting to get a little bit more active. Remove the block or the roll for now. Take one hand onto tailbone, so onto sacrum, other hand towards pubic bone. On exhale, tailbone tucks down. If anything, go slightly under just so you can explode this movement. So then come back to neutral. So when we say tuck down, tuck under, that's what we're looking for. Then tip the pelvis forwards, but without popping the chest forwards too much. So this is like a forward tilt. So if you think about where your sit bones are, so at the bottom of your bottom, when you do that lift through the sit bones, you're actually tipping the pelvis forwards. So whichever definition feels like it works better for you, tipping the pelvis forwards or pointing your sit bones back or sticking your butt out. We're going to be looking at that as we move through some of the following actions. For the next one, you're coming into pyramid at the wall. A really good strategy, especially when my lower back is feeling really tight, is to free up the hamstrings before doing either seated postures or poses that potentially are pulling under through the pelvis. So you can do this with the hands on the wall or the hands braced high into the thigh. With the feet about hip distance apart, step left leg forwards and right leg back. Aim for 1 foot between the feet widthways, 3 feet between the feet lengthways. Hips are squaring forwards and then bringing the hands either high onto the left thigh, or if you were at the wall, this is where the hands would go onto the wall. Inhale to stretch the rib cage away from the pelvis. Exhale, do that forward tilt in pelvis and stick your butt out. If you feel like you're rounding in the back, lift the chest up a little bit more. Inhale, press into your left foot to shift more weight into the right foot. Exhale, pull belly muscles in. Draw the head up a little to help recruit into the upper back muscles. When the head is dropped down, so I know a lot of times in forest yoga there is this drive for relaxed neck, this is actually causing some postural complications. I like relaxed neck to be lengthened at the back of the neck versus this kind of craning in the neck forwards. So transit relaxed neck differently. It doesn't mean collapse around the neck. Now those of you that are really hamstring injured, take the right hand to the left inner thigh. This works even better if the left hand stays on the wall. Push your hand into your thigh and your thigh into your hand, switching on your adductors. Inhale, lengthen ribs towards the front of the room. Exhale, point sit bones towards the back of the room. Inhale, soften the left knee, bring yourself up, and then step forwards. Changing sides. This time, left leg is coming back. Feet are going to be about 3 feet lengthways, 1 foot widthways. Square hips and shoulders forwards. Inhale, telescope ribs up. Exhale, move from the pelvis first rather than letting the back round. Hands can either brace high into the thigh or take the hands onto a wall. Inhale, scoop the chest away from hips. Exhale, point sit bones away from pelvis. Activate the inner thighs like you did with the block or the roll, so inner thighs are active. Inhale to unfurl the low front ribs forward. So it feels very much like cobra, almost thinking back bend in the upper back. Exhale, draw shoulders back, lengthen the back of the neck. If you're getting a lot of stretch in the hamstrings, you can soften the right knee, but the aim is to pursue a little bit of that freeing up. Inhale, lengthen ribs forwards. Exhale, point sit bones towards the back of the room. Now, hamstring injured, left hand to right inner thigh and squeezing the leg towards that hand is just going to help bring more firmness and awareness and support around any of those injured areas. Now coming up, bend into that right leg, step forwards. For the next part, if the back is feeling really tweaky, pelvis against the wall and shoulders against the wall is going to give you the support in that side to side so that you can move without having to take and use all your postural muscles to stay upright. I find it really helpful days where my back is feeling really tired, and especially days where this tuck under is happening and neutral is proving an elusive place to be. Take the feet, so they are about 2-3 feet apart. If you're working against the wall, pelvis and shoulders against the wall. There's an extra move in here that can sometimes feel a little bit confusing. The aim is to lengthen out the sides of the ribs. As we're doing these side bends, there is a tendency to go to your absolute deepest, scrunching into one side, purely to lengthen out this side. I want you to feel that both sides are long and that you can create that side bend in this side without completely collapsing into the other side. Inhale to bring the left arm up. Lift the left ribs up away from the pelvis and press down into active legs. Exhale, lean over that left hip but without allowing the pelvis to move, and bring the left hand onto the uppermost part of your thigh, so the greater trochanter. Inhale, bring the right arm up. Exhale, spin right shoulder blade forwards and then lean to the left. Inhale, lift right ribs up away from pelvis. Exhale, pull belly muscles in. Now, especially if you know that you predominate in that tucked under position, slightly undo that here and see if that changes the sensations present in the pose. Inhale, breathe in a way that touches into right side low belly. Exhale, pull belly muscles in. Stage 2. Exhale, reach your right arm to the right. Have the hand so it's lower than the shoulder. Inhale to lift the abdomen up away from pelvis. Exhale, soften left ear towards left shoulder. So when we say relaxed neck, it doesn't just mean collapse. The same as you would do with your waist, lengthen left side of the neck and then soften into the right side. Inhale, stretch ribs and diaphragm up away from pelvis. Exhale, actively reach with that right arm, neck softened and released. To come up, inhale to reach with the right arm. Left hand comes onto the side of the head, lift the head up. Take a little bend in the knees just so you can free up any grabbiness that might be forming around the pelvis, because we are static in these postures for a wee bit. Inhale, bring the right arm up. Stretch right ribs up away from pelvis. Exhale, preserve that as you lean to the right, bringing the right hand onto the right hip. Inhale, bring left arm up. Exhale, wrap left shoulder blade to the underarm, so the elbow is going from pointing outwards to pointing more forwards, and then lifting. Exhale, side bend to the right, preserving space on the right side of the ribs. Inhale, lift and lengthen left side of ribs. Exhale, pull belly muscles back, but without tucking tailbone under. So especially if you know that that is your movement tendency, be aware on those contractions if you start curling under more, perhaps aggravating into the lower back. Inhale, lift left ribs away from hips. Exhale, pull belly muscles in and back. Stage 2. Exhale, reach your left arm to the left and down so the hand is lower than the shoulder. Inhale, lift ribs up away from the ground. Exhale, draw shoulder blades down and actively reach with the left arm. Power down through your legs, so legs are creating the support for your back here. Inhale, lift low front ribs up. Exhale, both shoulders draw down, right ear relaxes towards right shoulder. Smooth out your breathing and neck release. Coming up, inhale to reach with the left arm, use the right hand on the side of your head, and then lift your head up. For the next part, come down onto all fours. If your knees get tender when working on all fours, simply fold back an extra layer of the yoga mat, so you end up with 3 layers of mat underneath your knees. During the next drill, you'll be on all fours and aiming to isolate the pelvis, but there are a few details that you need to get first. The first is an isometric squeeze. So when your hands are on the floor, they will be aiming to squeeze towards the knees. So you end up switching on through your lats and your back muscles a little bit more. From the shoulders to the ribs, aiming to keep that entire section of your back completely still, so you're moving and articulating the pelvis only. It's a little bit tricky. Let's come on to all fours. With hands under shoulders, hands are spread. I like to see a tracking of index fingers forwards from a spread palm. Knees under hips, which would be narrower than your shoulders. Look forwards and lift up between your shoulder blades. Tuck the chin to help lengthen the back of the neck. So here you are in a very lengthened position. Now, completely collapse between the shoulders. Allow the pelvis to kind of do whatever it wants. This position we want to stay away from. Now lift to your absolute maximum between the shoulder blades. This also isn't going to be massively favorable with where we're working. Find a halfway house, look forwards and point your sit bones towards the back of the room. Begin to squeeze the hands towards your knees. You should feel abdominals and also the underarms and lats starting to engage. Deep breath in. Exhale, tuck tailbone down. So you should feel there's movement in pelvis, but minimize any movement in the ribs. Inhale, pass back through neutral. Exhale, tuck tailbone down. You should feel front of hips and low belly. Inhale back through neutral. Exhale, tuck tailbone down. Minimize any movement in the ribcage. Inhale back through neutral, lift between the shoulder blades. Exhale, tuck tailbone down. Inhale, unfurl. One more. Exhale, tuck tailbone down. Pull belly up towards the ceiling, but without moving into your low back. Inhale, release that. All right, give yourself a break from there. Take any movement. Some of you might feel good to move more side to side. In the next drill, the arms will be coming up from the floor in opposition. Rather than bending the arm, the aim is to draw the shoulder back, the same with the leg. So the leg, obviously, you can't bend it halfway through. That would be quite interesting from a yoga point of view. So your aim is to draw the knee up. So you're flexing into your hip, also flexing into your back. I've been adding these in more lately because unlike some other forest yoga abdominals where you are supine, this is requiring you to engage some of your postural muscles differently. So some of those like anti-gravity muscles either side of the spine, whilst getting this very cross-based core and back strengthening. They've been really helping and they're deceptively challenging. Come on to all fours. I don't think I sold that very well. Once you're there, back on all fours, do some of those little checks. So sit bones point towards the back of the room, head is lifting, but the back of the neck is long. Avoiding being in a collapsed state between the shoulders. And remember, not bending the arms, no forward and back movement through the arms or the legs. Deep breath in. Exhale, lift right hand, left knee. Inhale, lower that down. Exhale, lift right knee, left hand. Inhale, lower slowly. Exhale, with control, lift the right hand, left knee. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift right hand, left knee. Inhale, lower. Exhale, right hand, left knee. Look forwards, point, sit bones back so you're not curling under. Inhale, lower that down. Exhale, lift right hand, left knee. I think I just told you it backwards. Inhale, lower. You should be alternating. Exhale, lift right hand, left knee. That one is correct. Inhale, lower that down. Exhale, lift left hand, right knee. Inhale, lower. All right, let's sit up from there. So the aim is you should have felt some sort of almost crisscross through the abdominal region, moving it down onto the back. In this next part, getting the inner thigh switched on. Those of you that are newer to bridge that we work in forest yoga, we tend to work with something at the inner thighs, so you have something to resist against. Whether that is a rolled up towel, whether it's a rolled up yoga mat or cushions, whatever, I don't care. Like, put something there. The difference when you are using your inner thighs in bridge versus not is like staggering. These are usually very switched off areas, and when it comes to supporting the back, I think they're almost essential work to be doing. So from where you are, grab your rolled up mat or your block and then come down onto your back. Put the roll to the inner thighs, heels are underneath the knees and ideally close enough that you can touch the heels with the hands. Shoulders are down away from the ears, palms face up. Inhale to feel that lengthening of rib cage towards the back of the mat. Exhale, refine by curling the tailbone up, but don't lift your spine. So tailbone is curling up, top of the pelvis is still down, then squeeze that roll. Inhale, stretch the ribs towards the back of the mat even more. Exhale, tuck tailbone up, squeeze the roll and lift up. So roll or block, use it synonymously. Inhale, stretch ribs towards the back of your yoga mat. Exhale, squeeze the inner thighs and specifically the low buttock muscles. If that's elusive, grab them and feel for, are you getting successful engagement? If not, can you sort of like jiggle and pinch a little bit until you feel like you can get that low buttock engagement? Be aware, if you're doing so much tucked tailbone that the hips feel jammed, that's going to feel very elusive. Low back tweaky, a really good strategy here is to take the hands, thumbs pointing towards the sacrum, and without bracing on the elbows, pulling the pelvis away from the ribs, and then lengthening the ribs away from the pelvis. So you get this concertina effect happening in the chest with a back traction. Inhale, stretch the ribs towards the back of the room. Exhale, reach your thigh bones towards the front of the room, feet active. Now coming down, lower down through the shoulders, mid-back, aiming to articulate, low back, and then set the pelvis down. Roll is going to stay where it is. If you're keeping the roll there, you have a couple of options. You can either work with the legs straight up, legs bent, or the feet flat to the floor. If you're working with a lot of low back disc stuff, feet on the floor is going to feel really great because you can keep the pelvis down without straining hips, without straining the back. This is a good one if you're newer to this kind of abdominal. Decide where you're going to be working. Inhale, press the pelvis down into the yoga mat. Elbows point up towards the ceiling. Hold the breath. Curl the tailbone up. Squeeze the block. Exhale, head and shoulders lift. Underarms lift towards the ceiling. Pull abdomen down. Inhale to lay the head down. If you're doing straight legs, flex the feet. Hold the breath. Curl tailbone up. Squeeze the block. Exhale, lift head and shoulders up. Underarms lift towards the ceiling. Pull abdomen down. Inhale, lay head down. Hold the breath. Curl tailbone up. Squeeze the block. Exhale, head and shoulders lift. Underarms lift towards the ceiling. Pull belly down. Inhale to lay head down. Hold your breath. Curl tailbone up. Squeeze block. Exhale, head and shoulders lift. Without wriggling on the shoulders, reach upper arms towards the ceiling. Pull abdomen down. Inhale, lay head down. Hold the breath. Last one. Curl tailbone up. Squeeze the block. Exhale, head and shoulders lift. Underarms lift towards the ceiling. Belly pulls down. Make sure that move is happening. Inhale, lay head down. Set the feet down and then remove the block. Get it clear so it's out of the way. For the next part, move the feet so they are further away, so the angle of the leg is 90 degrees or slightly greater than that. Take the feet wide enough that you can feel the outer edge of your yoga mat. Arm position, arms can either be out to the side or bent like rugby goalposts at 90 degrees. Inhale. Exhale, send both knees to the left. Allow the right side of the pelvis to lift as the knees go to the side. So it's creating a little bit of movement in the lower back, not an excessive twist. Inhale, bring both knees back up to center, aiming to control the movement. Exhale, send knees to the right. Inhale, knees come up through center. Exhale, send left. So here we are working internal and external rotation in the thighs after doing all the abdominal and leg strengthening. Inhale, bring knees through center. Exhale, knees to the right. Inhale, legs come through center. Now this time, as you exhale, legs go to the left and press down through your legs. So feeling inner right thigh, outer left thigh and buttock muscles. Inhale, knees come up through center. Exhale, send knees to the right, actively pressing down through the leg bones a wee bit more. You're already on your right hand side, continue rolling on that side. Use your arms to bring yourself up, and then use the right hand on the side of your head, and then lift your head up. Where are you heading next? Coming into a very gentle back bend, moving in towards low cobra territory. When you're doing this, I want you to be able to feel the difference between your active lift and your passive lift. If you're feeling very tweaky in the back, there are a couple of other movements that you can do in the legs, so you can listen up while you're doing it. Come down onto your abdomen. Bring the elbows so they are under the shoulders. If this feels like even this level of back bend is feeling quite intense, the further forward you take the arms, the less of a back bend there is going to be present towards the mid-back. And sometimes when my back is feeling growly, arms fully extended forwards and a little bit of a pull there is going to be what creates a comfortable back bend. Inhale to lift the left thigh in its entirety. Exhale, turn your left knee towards your right knee, reach the leg back, and then put the leg down. So it should feel like the leg's in a completely different place. Inhale, lift the right leg. Exhale, roll the right knee towards the left, reach it back, and then put that down. Tuck tailbone towards the heels, press the feet down. Inhale, pull with the arms, and then lift the chest a little bit. Now instead of whipping the head up, tuck the chin to lengthen the back of the neck. And similarly, don't let the head fall forward, so there's a little bit of a lift in there. As your comfort level dictates, hands might be a little further back, but aiming for the elbows to be in front of the line of the shoulders for now. Inhale, pull to slide the ribcage along the floor. Exhale, tuck tailbone, press down into the tops of the feet, upper arms down away from the ears. Take another breath here. Exhale, lower down. Now, next pose is called hover cobra. Bring the hands back alongside your shoulders. Squeeze your shoulders back. Inhale, lift the chest a little, so you're using your hands to assist. Now, this is where it can be quite interesting. Lift the hands from the floor. If you lowered dramatically, there's a big difference between your active and your passive range. Inhale to scoop the chest forward, still feeling for that forward lengthening action. Exhale, tuck tailbone, press down through the feet, shoulder blades squeezed back. Take another full deep breath here in hover cobra. Tabletop. Exhale, hands come under shoulders. Bring yourself up. Any movement you need to do here to help relieve the back is welcome. Moving into lunge. Step the left foot forwards. Now this lunge isn't going to go very far depth-wise. Aim for your left heel to be under your left knee, right knee to be directly under your pelvis, and especially those of you that favour outward rotation on your thighs or have sciatic tendencies, let's call it tendencies, check that that right leg hasn't swung inwards at an angle. This tends to happen. Angle the hips and shoulders forwards. This should feel familiar. Press down into both feet so the legs are switched on. Exhale, tuck tailbone down. Inhale, lift the ribs up away from pelvis. Now you can be here with the hands on your left thigh. If comfortable enough, bring the arms up. Inhale to stretch the rib cage up away from pelvis. Exhale, tailbone tucks down, both feet are pressing into the mat. Now your right leg, feel for squeezing that thigh towards the front of the room. You should feel a little bit more happening through hip flexor region, maybe into right side low belly. Inhale, stretch ribs up away from hips. Exhale, tuck tailbone down, stretch ribcage away from pelvis. Take another deep breath here. Exhale, release the hands down, step the feet back. This time, put a block between your ankles on a medium or wide setting, and then come down onto your abdomen. Boat with shoulder shrugs. Do that same move with the legs, inhaling to lift left leg. Exhale, roll it towards the right, reach it back, and then put it down. Inhale to lift the right leg. Exhale, roll it towards the left, reach it back, and then put it down. Squeeze the block with your ankles. Now, if you've got a lot of low back stuff, legs stay on the ground. Some of you, legs might be lifting, but you will be squeezing the block. Inhale, lift up the chest into a bit of a hover cobra, and then take the hands wide so the elbows feel spacious. Comfortable day, lift the legs. Inhale, spread the breath into the low back. Exhale, squeeze shoulder blades back, tuck tailbone, squeeze block. Inhale, spread in between shoulder blades. Exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades back, reach back through thighs. Inhale, spread in between shoulders. Exhale, squeeze shoulder blades back, tuck tailbone, reach back through active feet, even if the legs are down. Inhale, spread in between shoulder blades. Exhale, squeeze the shoulders back, tuck tailbone, squeeze block. Inhale, lower down. Hands under shoulders, press back into tabletop. Lunge. Inhale, bring the right foot forwards. Aim to level the hips so hips feel like they're forwards, and then think right sit bone. Bring it down so it feels like sit bones are roughly level. Can be a tendency when the back is tweaky to feel like one side is hiking up. If you take your hands onto your hips, you can start to feel that as if your hands were assisting like a spirit level. Press down into your feet. Inhale, bring the arms up, lift chest away from pelvis. Exhale, spin elbows forwards. Now let's start building this from the ground. Press into active feet, so that means toes lifting and spreading. Squeeze thighs towards each other. Exhale, tuck tailbone down, press down into that back foot in particular. Inhale, stretch ribs away from hips. Remember, there's also the option of hand on thigh. Exhale, squeeze your left thigh towards the front of the room. So aim is to feel a strong, powerful sensation in that left leg. Inhale, lift back, low ribs up away from the ground. Exhale, tuck the chin and feel for lifting up as if somebody was pulling you up by the back of your skull. Exhale, release the hands down, step that foot back, and then move towards more of a seated position. So we've done a little bit of movement. Shavasana is a really great shout from here. So if you don't have time for Shavasana, you can always stop the video. If you have time for it, I recommend that you either take a rolled up blanket or a rolled up yoga mat. So if you're practicing on a mat, just roll it up about halfway or a third, and your aim is to take your abdomen down over this rolled up mat. So this positioning gives you a little bit of feedback. Arms are relaxed wherever they can be, and then turning the head whichever way feels comfortable. Almost exaggerate breathing in a way that pushes the belly into this rolled up mat, and you'll feel this rise and fall through the lower back. Allow yourself to be still here as you follow this breath form.
Begin to deepen your breath. Reconnect to that part of your back that you were focusing on. Feel if you've been able to create a change, no matter how small, around that area. Commit to doing something else today that will help that spot, even if it's being mindful of it. If you're down on your abdomen, bring the hands on your shoulders, then bring yourself up. Shift towards a seated position. Feel free to grab any props if sitting up feels better for you. Bring your hands together at heart. Acknowledge the work that you're doing in regards to your back pain. Even getting on the yoga mat is a huge thing. It is a way for you to start mobilizing your energy to begin the healing process. Acknowledge that you have taken the time for that. Acknowledge, even if the shift that you feel so far is small, that there is a shift. Namaste.